I've been doing PT and
This call is now being recorded.
Oh, very
Oh my gosh.
happy to know that surgery went very well.
yes. Thank you.
We have also to do surgery of our mind. That is why I want to start this journey, which I said Gita in daily life. So pay attention. And this series, I was prompted by Charlie, but she has not joined. That is good. Then I said, everything is good, No, it does not mean that. Don't take it otherwise. So, here is Charlie. I was, So your inspiration took me that I should start the basics of the journey. Because if we do not understand the basics, then our reasoning picks up from the science. And if we pick up reasoning from the science, take one example. Tell me any branch of science that gives you the knowledge, who am I? If it does not give you the knowledge of who am I, then you have to follow the manuals of East and West. There is no other way. Leave aside the science at one time. No, you will say, no, science has a proof. Do they have a proof of love, honesty, integrity? No. So now what we say knowledge is power that liberates one from ignorance. And what is ignorance? It is incomplete knowledge about me. What is incomplete knowledge about me? Am I the body? Ask yourself. You see the dead body and you say, oh, my friend has left. Who has left? Body is here. But otherwise, for all practical purposes, we claim that I am the body. Until we remove this ignorance, nothing will happen. The moment I remove this ignorance, I am not the body, then who am I? That is the journey of the East and West. Now, understanding is required. Conventional education, what is the goal? Wealth, luxuries, comfort, pleasure seeking with people, objects, and places. Tell me if there is any other goal. So you see, it is a horizontal and a linear movement in life with luxuries, with comfort and pleasures. Pleasure seeking is at the center. I increase the quantity of pleasure. How? I marry many times. One, I have 5 houses. I have 15 cars. But what is happening? You are still moving in a linear movement. You are still seeking the pleasure. What is Eastern wisdom? It says no, vertical movement. Every time you have been seeking pleasure days after days, weeks after weeks, months after months, years after years for the last 20, 30, 40 years and expecting a different result. How many times I had grief in my life? And how many times the time, so-called, I say, the time healed me. Really? Time healed you? You forgot. Is it not a wrong notion? If time healed my grief once, it is once and forever. Is it possible? No. So it is still in a linear movement. Eastern wisdom takes you to a vertical rise of consciousness, not fall of consciousness. When you fall in love, it is attachment. When you rise in love, it is love. We will open up one by one. So now ask yourself, is conventional education enough to lead my life into permanent peace and happiness? You take one pill, Michelle, and it is not affecting you. So you go to the doctor again and you ask me, tell me something more. It's not helping me. Same thing with the Eastern wisdom. My grief, my delusion, my depression, it is not helping me. It comes back again and again and again and again. Honey, from today I will not fight with you. So after a few days, I don't want to tell anything. We all have experiences of this. Why it happens? What is the root cause? How I can help myself live a life of permanent peace and happiness. Food, money, home, prestige, recognition can bring you permanent peace, can bring you permanent happiness. You know the answer. You all are intelligent. You all are wise. If no, why you are running? And who is running after these things? Can I give a stop? I just met from the LinkedIn an expert who says, I put your website on Google ranking number 1. I told him that I make people realize how to become one, not number 1. Do you have some problem? Do you have some policy, projects, ideas to make every person one? 1 million people, experts in this area, they tell you that they will make your website on Google number 1. We don't try to understand. It is because of non-thinking or thinking in a wrong direction. Eastern wisdom says, we will guide you. What is right knowledge about who am I? We are not entering into the area of making an atom bomb or a computer or a smartphone. That is the expertise of the science. We appreciate that. Inner poverty, outer riches. Can it solve the problem? Fill everything with outer riches. What about your inner poverty? Inner poverty of anxiety, duality, conflict, issues, challenges. We have to balance the both. Science cannot help you there. Eastern wisdom is the instrument of knowledge that can only help you. When I say Eastern wisdom, it says, let us understand who am I, approach that, realize that. Let us understand the true nature of the world, where suffering, grief, delusion, everything exists. Can I live in the state where these challenges do not affect me? In a simple word. And we have already understood that outer riches cannot help me solve the problem of my inner poverty. That is why we have the Eastern wisdom. You can ask any question, but you have to understand first the basics. If you do not understand the basics, nothing will happen. One of the masters says, I am in debt. You are a good friend of mine. You can remove the debt. Right? I'm carrying 50 pounds on my shoulder. You can ease the burden. You can take 10 pounds. Can you remove the ignorance in my mind? Can you ease it? Can you eat for me? Can you go to the restroom for me? You see that? Pointer. Pointer. Become aware that I have to remove my own ignorance. I have to make a choice of the peace, and I pursue the path of the peace. Nobody can help me, including this beer guy. I can point you. My master said very clearly, the Eastern wisdom is full of wisdom, knowledge that points you. When they point you, do you follow it? Do you become a seeker? Do you practice regularly? Do you prevent the mind going against the knowledge? You will succeed. Otherwise, you will live in ignorance. No way. It does not mean that you are not intelligent. Intelligence and ignorance are two different things. It is incomplete knowledge about myself. Who am I? If I am not the body, even if I have a pain in the knee, does it affect me? My inner mind. It will not affect me. Our body is like a machine. Let me take best care. Finished. You see what I'm saying? Suffering and pain are two different things. Pain in the body. Mind is attached due to ignorance, claims I am the body. So you have a pain and you have a suffering. I'm just introducing that Eastern wisdom in a different way. Buddha used to say in one of the story that you have a pain in your left hand totally. So what Buddha used to say, that focus here, meditate here. So that pain area is this much. Now the area of the pain goes on reducing. You locate a point of the pain and 99% of the suffering goes away. You only have 1% of pain. Science does it by anesthesia. It does not change my impression of the mind. Mind goes back again. Again, you have a pain, you have a problem. But when you meditate, next time what will happen, you have a pain. The mind does not make this pain so big. It remains confined to that smaller area. Whether it is a pain, whether it is a grief, whether it is delusion, whether it has to do with surgery. I remember one thing, we have little time. It is recorded in British Encyclopedia, perhaps in 1932. There is the oldest city in the world. Its name is Varanasi in India. It was a kingdom. There is a tradition that every king has to practice yoga, reach to a certain stage of the consciousness or meditation, then only they are allowed to be a king. 1932, he was a king. He was suffering from appendicitis. You know the acute pain, people complain. If you don't have, then I'm just telling you that it gives you an acute pain. Few doctors from the Britain were invited to do the surgery. So they asked the king, let me give you anesthesia. He said no. It is recorded there. You can read it. So king said, I will go into meditation. After 15 minutes for 1.5 hours, you can do any damn thing to the body. But within 1.5 hours, because I succeeded in separating myself from the body for 1.5 hours in meditation. They did this. They after 15 minutes, they pricked the needle. He did not have any reaction. They did the surgery without anesthesia. After 1.5 hours, he returned. Michelle, you want to learn that? Anesthesia is good. Why she said? Because I am attached to the body, I am the body. So, Gita, there are 3,000 texts. There are many Gita. Gita is a group of texts. And one of the most important texts is Bhagavad Gita. This Gita contains 700 verses and 18 chapters. It covers almost every aspect of human life, emotion, feeling, mind, etc. That how you can live in peace, happiness, love, and wisdom. So I thought better to take up this text. It summarizes the entire teaching. First milestone in this learning is that in the beginning, you should learn the basics. Not only just 15-20 minutes of listening, because it pertains to your life. Listen it again and again. Understand each and every word and its essence. Why I said so? Every word has multiple meaning. In Sanskrit language, fortunately, this language of the Sanskrit is the language of the self-discovery. That is why it was discovered. Take an example of mind. So mind in Sanskrit is known as man or chitta. Chitta means consciousness plus matter. Take another example. We say, any word has its deeper meaning. It conveys the essence. Sat. Sat literally means truth, and it is coming from the word us. And the us means being, a state of being, is existence, is the truth. Means becoming is relative reality. Being is absolute reality. That being is understood as existence. Just I'm giving an example. So first milestone, listen. Second milestone, that after listening, do you understand what the masters are conveying? I'm not teaching anything. I'm just taking the knowledge and I'm passing on the knowledge. Second milestone is that, so in the first milestone, two-way process. Teacher talks to you, gives you the wisdom. Now, can that wisdom has become yours? If it does not become yours, nothing will happen. How come? Take one example. I say real self is permanent peace and happiness. Come on, but I'm living in pain. You told me that real self is inside. It is permanent happiness, but I'm in pain. We were talking in the morning with Anne. I'm in pain. How come that is possible? So when I start thinking, yes, if you said so real self is there, how it is possible? Don't believe, but how it is possible? Inquire. First milestone is done. Second milestone has prepared the mind. Prepare the mind means I have to remove the impurity. What is impurity? Anxiety, wrong notions. I have created a lot of false notions during our life, living our life, cultural conditioning, social conditioning, hypnotism from the science. Do you know that dark chocolate reduces your weight? How many of you agree? It was a bogus research study created to understand the mind of a human being. And the German group of scientists, they published that paper and they put into the Google, and more than 1 million people, they started eating dark chocolate and they claimed that their weight has reduced. And it was a bogus research. Later on, they published it. If you have tried this, don't tell me, but I am telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. You know, I saw it a couple of years ago, and they published the feedback of those beautiful women who said they claimed that it worked. How many things are working in our life with those false notions? Think of it. I can give you hundreds of examples. Until last year, I was keeping update with the science, but now I said Eastern wisdom is enough. You need not to go. So you see that first milestone, that I should take it and I should inquire. Don't believe me. I should inquire. Let this knowledge be mine. Oh, real self, you said it is pure peace, happiness, love, and wisdom. Okay. Now let me see what prevents me not to live into that. So what prevents me is the impurity in the mind. I have to get rid of it. There is a specific condition. You went for a surgery, Michelle. They put you into the operation theater. So they created a specific condition. Similarly, the mind should be put in a specific condition to receive that knowledge. Otherwise, nothing will happen. That is why I said I spent 26 years. So someone told me, you are so much crazy that you could not learn in first year. I said, you are right. You're right. And then I answered him, knowledge realized in stages. Seed cannot become it overnight. That was my answer. You have heard me, real self is pure peace and happiness. Did you get it? Should we close the session? Done? Knowledge is realized in stages, step by step. How long it will take, it depends on your mind, how it is moving. So that is what we say, to purify the mind and also remove these false notion. False notion. What is false notion? Let me give you a brief of it. I asked a young girl who is attending the private lesson with me, I said, what is the color of the sky? She said, blue. I said, really? The sky is blue? Science says, no, sky is not blue. But it appears blue. Because it appears blue, so I take it is blue. That is why this is false notion. Water in the mirrors. When I drive a car, 100% with my eyes, I see that the road is running behind me. Trees are passing by behind me. If the senses gives me a fact and the truth, it gives me a false notion. Tell me if I'm not right. Every time you know this highway is not running, Route 1 is not running behind you when you're driving the car. But every time you see it is running. Do you get it? The same way we have a false notion, I am the body. Once I get rid of this false notion, I can enter into my deeper layers of my consciousness and I can find the reality. My friend, simple. I'm just simplifying it. So Gita gives you that wisdom. Second thing in the Gita is one of the most important. It says, keep your intellect alive. The mind should not take over the intellect. The intellect should take over the mind. Mind is emotional, sentimental, instinctual, habitual. Mind says, I like this beer, that's why I will attend your session. I don't like your beer, I will not attend the session. So what it has to do with attending a session? Just ask yourself. One beautiful woman last week, I went for a session. She said, you have an impressive beard. Exactly. So I got a little bit scared. You have to be a little bit scared. I said, should I shave my beard? Next time I'll meet you, I will shave your beard. Then pass a comment to me. No, it was a joke. It has nothing to do. What the wisdom has to do with this gray beard. So our masters, they are very particular, and in the Gita, they ask, keep your intellect alive, so that the mind should not dictate over the intellect. How it intellects, how it dictates. I lived loveless life for 27 years. See that. I'm talking of Bill Gates. Come on. You are such a genius. So our Eastern wisdom does not leave your mind to even a very minute level of false notion. And that is why the teacher is required who personalizes the teaching. He picks up or she picks up your challenges, how the mind is working, how you can change that mindset. But it explains you every principle. It says this is what is happening. Please don't see it is water. You see the water in a mirage. You are seeing the blueness of a sky. Fact is that it is not. Science has proved it. Science proves that this solid is not the solid. Is it solid? Atom, electron, proton, neutron. Then you enter into quantum physics. It is all energy. But it does not mean that if it is all energy, so let me pass through the wall. And I hit my head. So instead of meditation, I need medication. So we have to understand this aspect also, how to deal with this, the world outside, and how to deal with the inner reality, how to make a balance. That leads you to awakening of the real self, my friends. And then the third milestone, in which you understand the principle, you allow the mind to remain pure, you become a seeker, then you do the practice, the result comes. When it will come, I have already answered, so don't ask me. You are responsible. I cannot take the burden of your ignorance. You have to take it. I can ease your debt if I have the money. Otherwise, I'm a homeless guy, jobless guy, and knowledgeless guy. So I live that life. Homeless, jobless, knowledgeless. It gives you an idea of dropping the identification. I take care of this house. It belongs to my son. Only me and my honey lives there. Huge house. No identification. I act like a trustee. I take care of everything. Jobless, I don't have any employment. And knowledgeless. Knowledge belongs to existence. Knowledge is not a property of any individual. Do you see that? This knowledge of Eastern wisdom, we are not talking of intellectual property rights. Come on. Science. I'm not criticizing. That is also good. You have seen the war of COVID-19 vaccine, property right, we cannot give you. We gave you, people are dying. We don't talk about that. The last thing, you will be amazed. This knowledge of Eastern wisdom lies in the heart of every individual human being. Teacher in the knowledge simply triggers your mind and intellect, and by the practice to awaken, to realize that knowledge which is already present within you. That's why we do not say, let us research our real self. We say, let us discover our real self that is already present in you. You understand the difference between discovery and research? Research, search again. Discovery. But this discovery is totally little different. You discover a thing in the world outside. Here you are discovering what is already within you. Means what? I do not know that it is within me. What it means I do not know? I'm ignorant about it. That is why we use the word ignorance. That is why we use the word ignorance. Now you see that everything is clear. Huh? Now it is clear to me. It may be clear to you also. No problem. So let us, with that understanding, pick up these words, and gradually, step by step, we will follow this Gita. And step by step, we'll follow the knowledge, we'll follow the practice. I will change. So now I'm concerned about Michelle. She has already underwent a surgery. I did not hear which part. Can you do the breathing?
I had an ACL replaced, so my leg is what's affected, not my brain.
Not your brain, not your lungs. I know you have a super brain. So she is wonderful. So let us start our practice today. Eyes are closed.